So I played my first singles match back, only my second singles match in the last year and a half, last week. And there was some very significant challenges in that match. I don't want to get into spoilers because I know a lot of you watch the matches and enjoy the matches. So I won't get into details until the videos actually get posted. But just for now, I'm just going to say that I had some really, really significant game challenges in that match. And in the past, this has me thinking because looking back at the match I played last week, I had every opportunity to be really angry and upset. My game was just kind of falling apart at certain junctures. It was a very important match in the sense that this was like the relaunch like match for the Real Tennis Channel. We've taken a break for several months and we're trying to get back into it now. So it felt like a really important, meaningful match that it was the first upload, the first posting in many months. I had my wife was watching, and important people for me like were watching. We were streaming it live to new channel members. There was like I could probably come up with a dozen different reasons why I should have been really angry and upset. And I can't say that I never got frustrated or angry in that match. I did, but in the past, but I probably spent 2% of the match actively being frustrated or angry. Maybe only 1%. And even though the entire match was really challenging for me, and there were pockets where it felt like a total failure. I mean, I really mean that. Like nothing was going right. I had no answers, and it was like if I this is what I've been thinking about in the past, that all of those psychological, mental, emotional challenges would easily overwhelm me, and I would just totally nosedive mentally and emotionally. And of course, when you mentally and emotionally nosedive, then the rest of your game follows, and your performance goes with it, and you're not able to play the game nearly as well as you should because you're clouded by all that negativity. That didn't happen at all last week, and it's such a big win for me looking back. And I keep getting better and better at this, and I feel like comparing last week's match to maybe when I was in college, when I would have completely jumped the shark, if you're familiar with that term. I would have completely exploded, completely blown up, and gone away and just like given the match away. And I feel like I can boil it down if I bring it all the way up to like the very top, like the response. What is the response to the challenging situation? I feel like in a nutshell, and there's days worth of conversation we can have about like what all goes into this. But in a nutshell, I feel like the fork in the road that is different for me now is previously I would respond with emotion, and I would like buy into the temptation to be kind of overwhelmed mentally and emotionally, and I would be ashamed of my play. I would be angry at my lack of performance. I would be frustrated that like I know I'm not living up to the level of play that I know I'm supposed to be able to play. I could make a very long list of like here's all the emotional like responses I'm having. I'm embarrassed by the people watching me, and so there's this snowball starts to form. And I in the past I would not be able to right the ship again, and the snowball would get bigger, and by the end of the match I would just be completely in just a totally dejected, like depressed, very angry, very kind of dark space mentally and emotionally. So that's like path number one, right? We're taking a 30,000 foot view here. That's path number one. Now, last week, when I look at my response, the fork in the road, the other path that I'm now able to take is a practical one, like a pragmatic one, a problem solving mindset of, okay, like very logical. This is not working. What else is there? Could I try A, B, and C? XYZ is not working. And it's like a problem solving mindset. And of course, like I said before, like frustration did definitely frustration was a part of the equation, but it was very, very small. And the difference for me now in my experience is I'm able to sense and feel the frustration and acknowledge it, and then pivot and take that other fork in the road, the other turn, the other option in terms of my path. and immediately go back to problem solving and being kind of logical and practical about it. It doesn't mean it's easy to play bad. It doesn't mean that it's fun to play bad. But my experience now is that I'm able to stay in the problem solving mode instead of getting tempted and trapped over into the emotional mode. And the outcome now is I'm able to give myself at least a chance. And I made a big pivot in this match. And again, I'm not going to give away any details or spoilers, but I went through like a phase where nothing was working, and then a phase where I was very much competitive and in it. And that would be completely impossible had I not taken path B instead of path A, with like my mentality and my outlook and how I was like interacting with myself during the match. So this has been years. I mean, this has been years and years in the making for me to be able to get to this spot. And it's maybe the most impactful, most important shift for me as a player ever. Like learning how to hit, topspin for the first time. Probably not as impactful or meaningful as making this mental shift. And as far as like how I've been able to do it, I would say, just to like boil it down, make it really simple in 30,000 foot view, in a nutshell, it's basically a cycle of what I described before. Being mindful and being aware, step number one. Okay, the negative like thoughts and like feelings and emotions are there. They're present. Like it's still gonna be part of it. I'm still human. It's not like I flipped some kind of switch and I'm just like a robot now. But it's recognition and identification, and then redirecting and refocusing to something purposeful. And the third part, so that's like, I feel like there's 3 steps. Step 1 is the recognition and the awareness. Step 2 is the redirecting in the moment to something more practical and purposeful and actually productive. Step 3 is a continual refocusing on gratitude and just like a happiness to just be there and be a part of whatever that experience is. I feel like those are that's like the trifecta for me. And I'm noticing it more and more, and I'm practicing it more and more. And I feel like I'm getting better at it more and more. And I just want to let you know, if you fall into like ruts of being negative, being kind of self-destructive, being really down on yourself, performing poorly, and if you've experienced the negative like feedback loop or like the snowball effect of the negativity kind of taking over, I'm telling you there is another way. And I think it's those 3 things. They all take practice. Like none of them are going to be necessarily overnight, things. Probably not going to be overnight things. But I'm telling you, as somebody who's been in a very dark place with tennis, and now it's been a 180 for me, and it took time, but I'm telling you it's possible. And I keep reflecting on it more and more. And so I just always like to, share my thoughts about what I see that's working for me and for other people in general. And that was a big thing for me last week. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully something in there gives you something to think about and you have something to maybe try. And I'm going to keep working on it and reporting back and hopefully helping you along the way as well. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.